The ventricles are fluid-filled spaces within the central nervous system that carry our nutrients and waste. Remember that CSF, which is what fills our ventricles, the cerebrospinal fluid, is going to be created by those ependymal cells. It's really important when describing a lot of the locations of structures within the inside of our brain. You'll see a lot of the time that anatomists and neuroanatomists are going to use where things are based on where they are located near the ventricles. So understanding where ventricles are and what structures are near it will be helpful when reading textbooks, reading articles, or talking with anyone about the inside of the brain. So when we look at our ventricles of the brain, it looks like this. So this is inside the brain. Now, this looks a little complicated to draw a lot, right? So we still see our four main ventricle areas, but I'm going to show you guys how I kind of do my own modified version of it. So my modified version is if I was looking at it from the front. And so what I see from the front on either side, I have my lateral ventricles. And my lateral ventricles on either side, if I were to kind of like put what is around here, it would be my lateral ventricles are near my cerebral hemispheres. So we have two lateral ventricles because we have two cerebral hemispheres. So lateral ventricles are supplying the cerebrum. From there, I go down like this into my third ventricle. So I like to kind of make it like that. This is my third ventricle right here. My third ventricle is going to be surrounding my diencephalon region, which you guys are going to read about. I'm not going to do a video on the diencephalon region, just so that you guys don't have to watch a million videos, but the diencephalon region is going to be made up of my hypothalamus, my thalamus, my epithalamus, and that kind of middle region is where I have a lot of relay happening between my brainstem, spinal cord, and my cerebrum. So it's kind of that middle area. And so my third ventricle is all about my diencephalon. From there, we kind of go down right here as I'm coming down through. In that area right here as I was coming down, let me just make this. Can I change your color? Will you let me change your color? There we go. Let me make this blue. So as I'm coming down right here, this is going to be my cerebral aqueduct. And the cerebral aqueduct can be found in the level of the midbrain. The midbrain is the first part of my brainstem. The brainstem is made up of, and I can show you in a second. Here, let me show you. So here's that diencephalon, right? And this is going to be where my third ventricle is all here. And then my brainstem is right here. So my brainstem, here's that diencephalon on the top. Here's my brainstem, and it has three parts. Midbrain, so we have our cerebral aqueduct within this. This is the outside of it, but within the center of it is going to be the cerebral aqueduct. And then we have our pons and our medulla. Those are the last two parts. Those pons and medulla are going to have the fourth ventricle around it. So then I kind of draw this little triangle at the very end. And from the fourth ventricle, then it continues down through the spinal cord. So this is my fourth ventricle, and that is going to be interrelated with my pons and my medulla. So you guys don't have to draw this, but for me, seeing it, I'm a visual person, so this helps me remember these are what go with what regions. For you guys, I just went a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can just write the regions next to it. This is what it looks like in reality. So here's that lateral ventricle. And as we go from that lateral ventricle, it comes down and we have our third ventricle right here. That third ventricle then comes down right here with that cerebral aqueduct, and that goes to our fourth ventricle that's down here. You can see that lateral goes all the way around. That and those are your ventricles. Now you guys are just going to read about the diencephalon as well as the limbic system and the brainstem and the cerebellum. So those you're just going to read about. There are images there that will kind of help you. And if you have any questions, please contact me and I would be happy to explain more to you.